Hi guys, I'm making this video for year 10 now. The purpose of this task is for us to identify the theme of the food we've been looking at, try and work out what ideas we're thinking about, and then make a plan of what we're going to research. So it's showing that you're reflecting upon the selection you have made of food substances and different things. You've considered the ideas that could be associated with that, and then you're considering where you're going for research. Now there's two examples on here. In the first one, which is the fast food one, I say I'm going to look at Andy Warhol. General information about his work and ideas. It doesn't say I'm just going to look at his food related work. I'm going to look at mass production and brands. I'm going to research artists who have done work on fast food to get some ideas. So that is not a standalone task. That is evidencing that you are doing some thinking. I'm going to just go into my PowerPoint now. Now this is really what we're asking you to do. We're not asking you to make an epic slideshow with one thing on every single slide. We're asking you to do a layout like a sketchbook page. So I've popped in a title, so I know this is the focus of what I'm doing on this particular slide. I may have several slides in a series. So in my previous plan, in the research column, the third column, I said I was going to look at Andy Warhol. So I do look at Andy Warhol. I look specifically at his food work, and I say Warhol has worked in advertising as a designer before becoming an artist. The two careers are connected. So I've obviously done research. I haven't put a load of information off the internet about Andy Warhol. I've made a specific connection between the work of Andy Warhol and the style and things he's learnt from his previous career. His soup cans are repetitive and resemble supermarket shelves. I've got a typo there, but you can see why I'm making this connection because I've put a picture of a chap in a supermarket that I found on the internet. I saw this wallpaper which seems connected. Now that's all I've said, it seems connected. Below I can see there's repeat elements, so it's a little bit like these things, but it's in a wallpaper or wrapping paper. I could consider that further about if it's a wrapping paper, it could just be disposable, like packaging is disposable, and I could make connections there. I haven't done that. I've carried on thinking a little bit more about these other things. Some of the cola bottles are not printed perfectly. It made me think that this is maybe a flaw to do with mass production. Warhol was screen printing. I quite like the variety in those things, and I've said that. I quite like the variety rather than it being perfect. That is a personal preference I've popped in that says something that I might refer to later. If my work is not perfect, I might refer to Warhol's work not being perfect. See what I did there? So I then started to consider, I've looked at supermarket and I've considered in lockdown, people went crazy when they were stockpiling. I wondered if I could make a connection back to rationing. At the moment, when I went to the supermarket the other day, there was a lack of citrus fruits, and somebody said something to do with Brexit. Whether that's true or not, I do not know. I've not done my research, but if I was interested, I could make a connection. But here I've referred to going on a trip to the Imperial War Museum North at Salford in year 9. I did go on that trip, if you recall. So here I've got some reference to rationing. Now, I was thinking about rationing historically and the effect on nutrition during the war. So I started to think about healthy diets and unhealthy diets. Obviously with rationing, unhealthy not because of poor choices people were making, because of circumstances. And that made me think a little bit more about we are what we eat. And I found this graphic. I've said I do not like this image, but I like the ideas of messages within food. I started to think about developing my own packaging and nutritional values. So I found something with nutritional values on. It fits with my fast food and consumerism theme. And I found some blank packaging, and I'm now considering about putting my own messages into packaging. So on that sheet, I have not made a plan of exactly what I'm going to do. I've genuinely started to think and find things that make connections. I had no idea at the start I was going to look at this stuff, but that's fine. In my initial plan in the previous document, if I can jump back to Teams here, in here, some of those things I hadn't obviously identified then. I hadn't said I'm going to look at rationing. I said I was going to look at artists. I haven't got around to that yet because I've gone off in a slightly different direction, and that's cool. This is showing that we are planning and thinking. This is what we want you to do. We want these condensed sheets that are making connections between wider things. You are not writing an essay. You are putting down your thoughts and making connections. If you have knowledge from somewhere else, include it. If you find something that might be a little bit on a tangent, but you think, I'll put that in because it seems relevant, include it. That's what I'm after.